Hello and welcome to Plus Sports on Plus TV Africa. My name is Mikhail Tinubu. Welcome on the show. I am joined this evening by John Enuwah, a sports analyst from right here in Lagos. John, good evening.
Yeah, good evening. Good evening, Mike Mukai. Good evening.
Now, of course, it's been a roller coaster season in the Premier League for many teams. In fact, it's been a roller coaster
Yeah,
season all around Europe. Bayern Munich, in trying to resolve the issue of potentially losing out the league title to Dortmund, even though they had a manager who had secured 8 wins in the Champions League, they fired Julian Nagelsmann and ended up with Thomas Tuchel appointed as the new manager. And unfortunately, he has lost all but one of his current games played. And that has left them behind Dortmund, left them out of the Champions League. And now there's conversations being had about the potential to sack him at the end of the season should they fail to win the league title. I think even I, as a Chelsea fan with high expectations, being something that I'm used to, that the rest of the fan base is used to, Bayern Munich losing out to Dortmund doesn't seem like the end of the world, except it does seem like Oliver Kahn and the rest of the Bayern board do consider it an end of the world scenario that would leave them in a position to sack a manager they had only just gotten recently, at a time when perhaps they shouldn't have sacked Nagelsmann. This speaks, of course, to the idea that the competition in Europe is so fierce right now, and roller coaster rides are happening all over the place. What do you make of this story?
yeah. For me, I think the problem with Bayern Munich at the moment is more or less an internal issue. I think it was a bad decision taken by the management of Bayern Munich, that's the Oliver Kahn management. It was a bad decision taken by them to sack Julian Nagelsmann, who was doing perfectly well for them this season. I mean, I think he lost only 2 or 3 games this season for them in the Bundesliga. So it was a very terrible decision sacking him and replacing him with Thomas Tuchel. But I think winning the Bundesliga for Bayern Munich obviously is the barest minimum for any coach that is coming into that side. I mean, if you're coming into a team like Bayern Munich, you're expected to win the Bundesliga at the first try. You understand? So it is something that it is their bet, right? It is a cup that they win every season. So I think if Thomas Tuchel does not end up winning the German Bundesliga this season, then for me, I wouldn't consider it a failure, but I just think it's a step in a backward direction
Obviously, though,
because
Thomas
and
Tuchel isn't a bad manager. He's actually one of the very best German tacticians out there.
yeah,
It
yeah.
seems to me like accepting this job might potentially tarnish his image further because, first of all, the Bayern Munich job is the biggest job you could have in Germany club football. He got fired from Chelsea. A lot of the reasons why that happened haven't really come to light. We've heard drips of rumors and no certainty about any of it. If he gets fired, obviously there will still be clubs that would line up to have such a talented manager. But do you feel like, even though this is a team that expects to win pretty much every season, the Bundesliga, is there a sense of complacency with this management in believing that bringing on a manager, even one as talented as Thomas Tuchel, at this time of the season, should still guarantee them a win? Like there should be no expectation of an adjustment period.
No, no. See, for me, the reason why I said it was a very terrible decision from the management Yeah, he's a good coach, but it's wrong timing. I mean, you don't bring in a good coach like this is a team with experienced professional lead. You don't change a manager towards the end of the season, especially when what was working before was not bad. So I think the major issue here is that it was a wonderful decision. It was a wonderful decision by the management, but also the timing was terrible as usual. So I think Thomas Tuchel is a wonderful coach. He's an experienced coach, but bringing him in at this point in time was what hit the camel's back because yeah, these players need a full preseason to learn the new tactics, to learn the way this coach wants to play, to understand some of Tuchel's game plan and all that. So bringing the man in few games to the end of the season was a very terrible decision because they are not giving the players. Yeah, they all say they are, but they are not robots. They are human beings. So of course they have to learn. They have to just like we are telling them to learn a new style of play because Julian Nagelsmann and Thomas Tuchel don't play the same way. They play different ways. They have different tactics and different ways at which they manage their players. So I think it was a good decision. It was a step in the right direction by management. But I think they could have waited to the end of the season before taking this far to the end of the season. It could either make or mar the team, and for as it stands, it has scattered the team. So I think that was a very
All
bad
right.
decision by
All right, John.
the market at this time. For it going forward.
John, speaking more about the roller coaster nature of what's been going on in European club
Yeah, I can hear
football,
you.
Arsenal manager Mikel Arteta has urged his Premier League leaders to make the most of an incredible opportunity when they travel to nearest challengers Manchester City on Wednesday. The Gunners are 5 points clear of second place City but have played 2 games more than the reigning champions. Anything other than a first away win against City since 2015 would leave the destiny of the title in Pep Guardiola's side's hands. Arsenal have drawn their last 3 league games, raising doubts over whether a youthful side can deliver the North London club's first Premier League crown in 19 years. This was not where they expected to be at the beginning of the season. In fact, if they had been told that they could be ending the season in second place, they would have taken that. Now, expectations have been raised, and all they want is to win this title. But the familiar criticism of Arsenal have come to light lately. I remember famously under Arsene Wenger, for years it was argued you cannot win anything with kids. This is a team full of kids. Granted, a
Yeah.
carefully gathered team of kids with plenty of talent amongst their ranks, and certainly some members of those kids are winners and know what it is to play at the highest level, to play for trophies and to win trophies even when it's dying moments and backs against the wall situations. But is Arsenal about to suffer the same issue, particularly that they suffered under Arsene Wenger at the last minute of this title race?
Yeah, for me, yeah, I understand what you're saying. For me, that was the same issue I raised at the beginning of the season. Yeah, I saw what Arsenal were doing at the beginning of the season. A youthful side, they were winning games. Obviously, the team was gelling, they were playing very well. But the questions I had were, could this team, do they have the mental capacity to follow Manchester City toe to toe? Do they have the mental capacity to challenge with the likes of Manchester City and Liverpool for the title? And I think what we are seeing now at this point and at this stage in the season is that no, they don't have it actually. Yes, they're a good side, but mentally to follow the big dogs in the game, to chase them toe to toe, you need to have that mindset that okay, yes, I can do this, I can win this. You need to be strong mentally as a team. But what we are seeing with this Arsenal side is that mentally they are not there. I mean, if you look at their last 3 games, they've drawn to Liverpool, they drew to West Ham, And they also drew to Southampton. It's not about, dropping this point, because that was a possible 9 points that they could have gained, but they dropped them. It's not about dropping these points, but the manner at which they drew with these things. I mean, Liverpool, they were 2 goals up against Liverpool until, until the second half. Then Liverpool came back and took away the game from them. And moving into the next game, they were also 2 goals up against West Ham. And what happened? They lost their lead against Southampton that we expected them to win, which was on their own home turf. They found themselves 3 goals down after the 88th minute of the game, after the 88th minute of the game, until they miraculously came back to salvage a point in that game. So what this shows you is that this is a lack of.
But can we point out something? Can we point out something?
Yeah.
Manchester City are a train that does not stop. To overcome them is a Herculean task on its own, and the league is not like it's a marathon, not a sprint. And if this was any other time in the season, with different points gap, we would be saying that they've done incredibly well to come back against Southampton. They've done incredibly well to resist the momentum of Liverpool, whom are not a small club. They're no slouches in themselves. And we know the nature of relegation battles for teams when they're going into the end of the season and they feel they have to put everything, and they throw everything, including the kitchen sink, at the opposition, which was the position that West Ham was coming from against Arsenal. Sure, they threw away two goal leads against Liverpool and West Ham, and they had to come from behind against Southampton. But again, surely at any other time of the season with different points gap, we would be saying they've done brilliantly. They've shown a championship mentality.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, but we have clutch moments in football. If you are chasing a team, or if you're in a certain, put it like this, if you're in a title race with a team like Manchester City, you don't need to drop points. I'm a Liverpool fan. I've supported Liverpool all my life, and we've been in different title races with Manchester City. I mean, we finished the season with 97 points and we still didn't win the league. We finished the season with 93 points and we still didn't win the league. So if you're chasing, it's the manner of your competition as well. If you're chasing a team like Manchester City, you have to make sure you win your own game, your own winnable game, to make sure you win those games, and you don't rely on other things to help you do your bidding, or maybe you rely on them to help you beat Manchester City. You just hope on Manchester City to drop points. They wouldn't drop the points. You as well, you have to win your own game and hope that at the end of the day, you've won enough and gathered enough to help you win the league. So what I'm trying to say is that it's the manner of your competition, the people you are competing with. Yes, if it was earlier on in the season, we would have applauded them for such heroic comeback. But now with the tail end of the season, whereby we know a team like Manchester City, they always go on winning runs at this stage of the season. I think many people don't understand that Manchester City are currently on a 7-game winning streak since the 27th of February. Nobody's paying attention to that, because that is how Manchester City do. At this stage of the competition, they just know how to turn the switch up and continue winning till the end of the season. So if Arsenal want to compete with a team of this caliber, they really need.
I feel like Mikel Arteta has approached this season with a very humble personality. He wants to win, obviously. You can see the hunger in his eyes. But between now and the end of the season, I always leave room for one more game of dropped points, even for a team as unstoppable as Manchester City. Do you believe Man City will drop any points come through in the rest of the season?
For both teams. For Manchester City, they have their next game is against Fulham. Then after Fulham, they have West Ham. Then they have Leeds United, then Everton. Then they have Chelsea, Brighton, and Brentford. Believe me when I say these are easily winnable games for Manchester City. I mean, 6 out of those fixtures are against teams in the bottom half of the table. Manchester City is not a team that, when you expect them to win, they always don't deliver. No, this is a team that if you expect them to win, be rest assured that they are going to win this game. But if you look at Arsenal's fixtures from now to the end of the season, obviously they play Manchester City tomorrow, which is a very difficult fixture. After Manchester City, they are going to play Chelsea next. After Chelsea, let's say Chelsea, yeah, they are not on form at the moment. So let's say maybe they win that one. Then after Chelsea, they play Newcastle. Newcastle is fighting for top four. Newcastle are currently third on the table. After Newcastle, they play Brighton. Brighton just lost to Manchester City and Manchester United on Sunday in the FA Cup semi-final. So Brighton, we know what the remarkable season they've had. They are not pushovers. After that, they face Wolves and Nottingham Forest. Believe me when I tell you that if Arsenal face this team from now to the end of the season, obviously they will drop points.
But you've also mentioned three. But you've mentioned three teams that have the potential to cripple Man City on their day. Fulham, Leeds, and Brentford especially. And this is the Premier League. There are no easy wins, even against lower half teams. What do you mean
by Fulham and Leeds crippling Manchester City?
On their day, these are teams that are capable of playing progressive football, playing transitional football, which Pep Guardiola notoriously dislikes because it means his team is not in control of the match. And come the end of the 90th minute, we could be seeing either of those two games resulting in a 1-1, 2-2, or even a 0-0 result, or even a 1-0 win for the lower league teams, lower table teams. And then let's not forget Brentford, who have shocked everyone consistently and have a capacity to beat even Manchester City. I do not take for granted that Manchester City...
They did beat Manchester City in the first leg as well.
Well, this is the second leg. That game is gone. We're talking about a new day, a new dawn, and an opportunity to make up for old mistakes. I'm not saying that Manchester City will take their foot off the gas, but I'm wondering, might these teams come into that match with a Formula One race car ready to accelerate past Manchester City? These are not teams that are incapable of beating Manchester City.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. And yeah, you might be true. You might be correct, because if you look at these teams, the likes of Leeds United and Everton and Fulham, these are teams that are currently battling in the relegation zone. And we know how the Premier League is. When it comes to the tail end of the season, we see those teams in the relegation zone. We see them, they go up a notch. They start playing like they are Champions League teams. I understand what you're saying, but we also need to understand that a team like Manchester City, with the experience and clutch moments that they've had over the last few years, I don't think if they know that they need to win this game, let's say they need to win A and B from now to the end of the season, they know that if they win this game, it can assist them a spot, a shot at winning the title. They will lose those games. I don't think so. I think if Manchester City go into tomorrow's game against Arsenal and they beat Arsenal, and they win their games in hand, knowing fully well that they are on top of Arsenal, I don't see them coming down.
The story of the title race is one of intention coming up against a wall of reality oftentimes.